Good afternoon. Let me take this off. Everybody's far away from me. Good afternoon. I'm Phyllis Guberman, a member of this congregation, and I'm honored to be your service leader for the ordination of Bobby Kilgore today. We now will have our chalice lighting. I think there may be a screen, but if not, I'm going to be reading the words as James actually lights the chalice. Today's chalice lighting is by Vance Bass, Struggle and Joy. Every day brings struggle, every day brings joy. Every day brings us the opportunity to ease the struggle of another, to be the joy in another's life. May this flame remind us to carry our light to each other and to the world. And now we will have a processional hymn by Diana Ryder as our group processes into the sanctuary. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Oh, enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Open to rejoice and come in. Woo! Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Day will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Okay, our opening words this morning. One of the highest callings in life is to be a minister. This is as true for Unitarian Universalists as it is for any other faith, tradition, or path, maybe more so. Today's speakers will tell us about the challenges of a liberal faith and the gifts that Bobby brings to her ministry. As we begin, I would like to share these opening words by the Reverend George E. Odell that I believe reflect the theme of Bobby's ministry and chaplaincy, I am here for you. The title of this is, We Need One Another. We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted. We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid. We need one another when we are in despair, in temptation, and need to be recalled to our best selves again. We need one another when we would accomplish some great purpose and cannot do it alone. We need one another in the hour of success when we look for someone to share our triumphs. We need one another in the hour of defeat when, with encouragement, we might endure and stand again. We need one another when we come to die and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey. All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us. Thank you. And now Beth will lead us in a responsive reading. Beth Ann's.
Hello, everyone. I will go ahead and read what's on your screen that says leader. You may read with congregation. Those of you on Zoom who are virtual, please keep yourselves on mute and read in spirit. In the sanctuary, you will be our voice for the responsive reading. So go ahead and unmute. In this sacred space, we need not be alone. We seek a listening ear, a warm heart, open arms.
In this sacred space, we join together against the waves of negativity and oppression in our world.
We are a community of individual beings living our own lives, yet coming together now and then in joyous celebration of spirit and one another.
Our differences do not divide us. Rather, they are a source of interest and discovery. We need not think alike to love alike.
Here, joys are shared and sorrows comforted. We are seen and heard and believed.
My compassion overflows. Our hearts reach for others.
We are a gathering of like-hearted people, and here our lives are filled. We hear the wisdom and counsel of our ministers and that of one another.
We have much to learn from each other, so many different colors of truth and ways and methods.
In this sacred space, may we find what our spirits desire and what our spirits need. May we be grounded in love and sharing.
In this sacred space, may we find acceptance and consideration. May our actions and words echo what we learned. And now we will hear from Paul Cummins, who is a Zen Buddhist monk, and I believe a member of the Cocoa congregation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, to put this event in proper perspective, I need to tell you about my first meeting with Bobby. By the way, that's Barbara Ann Kilgore. We call her Bobby. She showed up at the Cocoa UU Fellowship for a Sunday service. She let us know that she was on leave from the Army, and B, that she'd been to Afghanistan and Iraq and knew how to kill people. She also told us she was female. Okay, thus far. Then she took a seat amongst the congregation. So I was service leader, and we had a guest speaker who was psychic. During the speaker's talk, we heard some strange sounds coming from the congregation. The Lamb of God was mentioned by the speaker, and bah, bah was heard. Discussion of a donkey, and then braying was heard. Finally, the birth of a child resulted in a baby crying. By now, you've guessed it, it was Bobby providing the entertainment. I need to point out this went on as an almost pre-planned part of the speaker's talk. They had not discussed it, but it happened for the betterment of the day. Well, before the congregation departed, Bobby had received an invite to a member's home, and 6 of us broke bread with her that evening. We all learned about Bobby's duties in the Army and her prior service as a U.S. Marine. We found her stories of world travel and engaging opposing forces fascinating. She told us of instances of having to go to war with military paper shufflers, staff people, and senior officers to fulfill the mission most important to her, the protection of her charge, the chaplain. That she chose this path is not a surprise to those of us who know her. She will listen to the stories of someone and take that person's pain as her own. Anything to help relieve their suffering. We carpooled together to a state prison for over a year. We had many overlaps in our ministries, and I saw her deal with people who were considered lost causes. She had every type of felon you can imagine, and I never saw her fail to reach one of them. Over the years I've known her, I've seen her dealing with people in a hospital, in an office, a park, private homes, and as I mentioned previously, even a prison. She treats each person as a person. Everybody deserves a chance to talk. That's everybody. She even puts up with myself and my dog Buddy. So In my line of Buddhism, we talk about someone who has been enlightened, and rather than move on to the next realm, they choose to stay and help all suffering individuals. That enlightened someone is referred to as a bodhisattva. Now, I can't speak to Bobby's enlightenment status, but she's making a pretty good run at the bodhisattva model. In fact, Bobby's come here today to accept this ordination is wonderful. But I can say this from experience, it will not change her. She will remain the same loving, caring, helping individual. Placing a reverend in front of her name will not change her. But we're here, she's here. Let's do this thing. Congratulations, Bobby.
Okay, so Paul gave us a little bit of an expose about things he knows about Bobby. Now we're going to hear from Irene Cummins, who is a Wiccan priestess, and I think will give us some more food for thought, let's say, on Bobby.
Okay. When you go to an ordination, there, I'm going to have to adjust my glasses and where I put things. Okay. When there is an ordination, there are a standard list of skills and abilities that are mentioned for the minister being ordained. Well, since this was for Bobby, I'm going to focus on some of the unusual skills that she has. Why focus on the unusual? Well, I think if we've learned anything from the last 15 months, it's that the unusual can sneak up and attack at any time. It doesn't matter who you are or where you live. The unusual can and does hit. The problem is right now, we don't know what the next unusual may be. The climate is changing. It's really that simple. We are all probably going to have a moment when we need someone to lean on. With all Bobby's experience, she is ready to help anyone who needs it. First, we have somebody who has served both in the Army and in the Marines. And I can tell you from experience, if she doesn't get you with the Army voice, she has a Marine version tucked away that she will bring out. She's traveled all over the world, and she saw combat in both Iraq and Afghanistan. That alone is worth my admiration. She was there in many cases to make sure the chaplain was able to deliver his or her sermon without becoming a casualty of war. Who knows who might have been touched in a positive way because the chaplain finished his or her sermon. And when someone is feeling really, really low, that can be the difference literally between life and death. While completing her ministerial studies, she was there for emotional support after the Pulse nightclub shooting. She also served as patient support at the Nemours Hospital. Any congregation, any community can always use someone with those skills, someone with the strength and courage to answer the call. When Bobby showed up at UU Cocoa and walked through the door, the first words were "Blessed be." I was thrilled. Someone seeking out their people. To be honest, most people aren't aware of how hard it can be to make it out of the broom closet. Family or community do not understand. There is a Southern Baptist version of Wicca, and then there is the truth. Neo-paganism is growing rapidly as the next generation view climate change as their big challenge. Being community faces as we move forward will give people a place to come and talk to someone about that. No more going on a diet because a scripture in the Bible quoted by some old, pale, stale minister. No, here there are new and fresh ideas, unusual ideas. My sister Bobby is a wonderful person with these unusual skills, a perfect candidate for minister. Blessed be, my dear, and blessed be to everyone watching.
Okay. Oops. Just have to give the peanut gallery a chance to get adjusted here. Okay, and now Diana Ryder will, and Eugenie will perform for us Open My Heart.
Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give.
That was lovely. And now we're going to hear right from the horse's mouth. Bobby Kilgore is going to give us a reading.
You got that down pat. Unitarian Universalists have for centuries said that there is room in our religion for all seekers. Skeptics, poets, and scientists are welcome. Here we are, as nonconformist and shy and uncertain folk. We believe that restlessness and doubt are a sign of grace, and that the love of truth is the holiest of gifts.
So now we are going to have another reading by Irene Cummins, who we just heard from. And welcome, Irene, back to our podium.
We must shine. We must shine now. This is the goal towards which we stretch step by step, in our own time and in our own pace. As our beauty unfolds and our hearts open, we become gentler and more compassionate, yet brighter, more empowered, and fearless. We have been holding on, holding back. Playing small, hiding our light under a bushel. Enough of that. It is time to let go. We are needed now, all of us together. All those who feel a calling to be who we are to the fullest, make a difference, to give it all we've got.
Okay, and now Diana will play, I hope I have this right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, a favorite. Diana.
I can relate. Okay. Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn and be our delight. 'Tis the turning we come out right.
Thank you, Diana. And now joining us via Zoom is Reverend Martin Concepcion. He is a bereavement specialist at Vitas. And I just want to put in a plug for Vitas. They are the ones who helped Jack and I through his journey of his final days. And so now we hear from Martin, Reverend Martin.
Thank you. It is a joy to be here with you guys and be able to share in Bobby's ordination. And I have to confess, I had a long speech prepared for you, nicely written. And as I am enjoying the service today, I have to change it all up and speak more from the heart, which represents a little bit more who Bobby is as well. My role today is to be able to speak to you about the chaplain's roles and responsibilities as we care for those who are terminally ill. Vitas Healthcare is a hospice organization, is the largest worldwide and nationwide, and the Brevard office is the 4th largest nationwide. And we are honored to be able to serve the community in this capacity. The chaplains are people who care, people who tend to the soul and to the spirit of those who are in need. We aim to listen, comfort, and address the patient's spiritual needs with dignity and respect. In Vitas, spiritual care is tending to the soul while helping the human spirit in its search for peace and meaning. Bobby is one of a kind. Those of us who have had the privilege to work with Bobby, we know that there's no one that will ever come close to who she is and how she engages with people. Her joy, her ability to embrace people and bring them in and be able to meet them where they are. It doesn't matter if they are speaking from a high intellectual position, either on politics, health, worldwide views, or if it's coming from a very simple point of view, she's able to meet them where they are. And she meets them with grace, with respect, and helps them connect to not only to what's going on in their life at that present time, but to everyone around them. She truly embodies the true spirit of chaplaincy, where we focus on that emotional and spiritual need that the patient is expressing along with their families by providing that pastoral care, the rituals and sacraments that connects the patient to his or her understanding of spirituality and spiritual practices, while respecting and honoring their faith and philosophy of life. As a Vitas chaplain, Bobby has extensive pastoral care skills, and she's a great and awesome listener. She's able to listen to the stories that the patients are presenting her with much interest and care. In doing so, she's honoring their life, acknowledges their struggles, and celebrate with them their joys. Bobby takes the opportunity to help the patient to express their thoughts and feelings, to discuss their fears and uncertainties, to engage in a life review, to honor relationships and articulate their theological and spiritual beliefs, while uncovering unresolved issues and ways how to heal from them. She offers prayers and readings from an inspirational or from a sacred text. She helps them be able to understand that there's life beyond what they are now experiencing. She helps them embrace what is now the most difficult time and vulnerable time of their lives, and be able to find meaning and peace in this final chapter of their life. And it doesn't end there. She compassionately cares for those who are bereaved. Once the loved one has passed, she is there to extend her loving arms and embrace them and support them through this difficult time as they grieve and as they heal. We never impose our theological opinions on anyone. Rather, we honor their belief systems at all times. It is our understanding that the primary needs of the terminally ill are spiritual in nature. With that understanding, we aim to bring peace. And in words of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, more than anything else, the dying needs meaning, hope, and love. Certainly, Bobby helps each and every one of the people who are entrusted into her care receive that meaning and reach that hope and feel loved. Bobby continues to offer her gifts of love, compassion, and to just be present with those who are in need. We are honored to have Bobby as part of our chaplaincy team, and we pray for her ministry as she continues to minister to those who are entrusted to her care. It is our hope and our prayer that she continues to find meaning and joy in all that she does, that she will continue to make people laugh, make them feel loved and embraced by all the hardships of life, but knowing that there is joy and peace in all areas of our lives. Bobby, continue to be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words, Reverend Concepcion. And now Diana Ryder. Make sure I'm in the right spot on the program. I believe we'll share Now Let Us Sing. If I'm wrong, she will correct me.
Da 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 dum, dum dum dum, da 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 dum, dum da 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 dum, dum dum dum, da 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 dum, dum da 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 dum. Sing to the power of the faith within. Da 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 dum. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. Now let Now let us sing to the power of the sing, sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid, sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the Savior, sing. Now let us sing to the power of the Savior, sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid, sing to the power of the joy within. Now let us sing, sing to the power of the Savior, sing. Now let us sing, sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid, sing to the power of the joy within. Sing, 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 sing.
Okay, it's hard to stay still when you hear that song. I'm up here kind of rocking. Okay, and now we're going to hear from Reverend Ann Fuller, one of our UU ministers and speakers here. And let me just move my little box out of the way, so that she can come to the podium.
Good afternoon. Let's see if I think that's adjusted. It is an honor, a privilege, and an absolute joy to be invited to deliver an ordination sermon, especially for someone like Barbara, known for many years. She's put so much work and effort into this. I could not be prouder. Thank you. Regardless of our personal theologies, Unitarian Universalism, as a shared faith, calls us to provide a measure of focus on this world rather than the next. If there's such a thing as a UU Trinity, I would say it would be love, love of self, love of neighbor, perhaps love of a divine entity, justice, the right relation among human beings, and ecological harmony. We UUs understand that our responsibilities are not restricted to personal morality or theological correctness, but rather are extended throughout our community and embrace our entire world. Consequently, it's often not easy being a UU. We find ourselves called to scramble for the means to aid a single mother of 5, actively protest military or political actions we find unjust, or simply pick up trash along the road in 90-degree heat. We have a proud heritage of philanthropists, creative theologians, social activists, and environmentalists, but we're blessed with more than a heritage. We have an ongoing legacy of prophetic vision and voices that speak to us today. The congregational polity the UUA affords its member congregations, the freedom to choose how we democratically govern ourselves and whom we ordain, results in a wide degree of latitude, both politically and theologically, as well as responsibility. Our faith communities represent a wide variety of character and focus. Congregational leadership and denominational representation runs the gamut from passionate volunteer lay leaders to fully ordained pastoral teams. Theological flavors range from 19th century liberal Christianity to unapologetically atheist. Some groups are politically shy, while others are passionately and loudly quite active. Regardless of the nature of any particular UU community, I've yet to walk into a UU environment and not be embraced. Granted, some are better at chatting up visitors than others, but I have never felt openly shunned or unwanted. My favorite congregations are those in which I feel like I've come home, even when I have never been there before. That's what Unitarian Universalism is to me, a spiritual home. UUs are my mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters. Our tradition is one in which individuals with unique gifts and a sense of calling are recognized by and lifted up by their spiritual peers and exalted into leadership roles. Hosea Ballou, a father of American Universalism and considered the most influential of the preachers of the second generation of the Universalist movement, was self-educated. He began his ministry as an itinerant who had to also teach school just to make a living. 3 years later, he was in the pulpit with the noted preacher, Elhanan Winchester and Joab Young at a convention. At the conclusion of Ballou's sermon, without warning, Winchester held the Bible against his chest and cried out, "Brother Ballou, I press to your heart the written Jehovah." Winchester then ordered Young to charge him. And perhaps that's the most dramatic Universalist ordination in history. We have a spiritual foundation of breaking barriers and pushing boundaries, like the earliest female ministers who accepted parishes and founded congregations in the Midwest when their male counterparts preferred the comfort, income, and status along the East Coast. Midwest Unitarians drove the progress of American Unitarianism in a decidedly liberal direction, and these women were at the vital core of that important development in our faith history. It is in this spirit that we gather to celebrate the ordination of a member of our beloved community. Our contemporary environment may be dramatically different from the 19th century, but all of our spiritual ancestors bring us here today. A day we are blessed and happy and proud to charge Barbara Kilgore with the rights, privileges, and sacred responsibilities of a minister in our faith tradition. She has dedicated herself tirelessly in service to others to prepare for this day. She freely and unreservedly accepts our charge to her. At moments such as these, it's also right and fitting to remember that she too is a person with gifts and with needs. Clergy are not endless wells of giving. There are times they must be ministered to as well. Be mindful of her limits, respect her boundaries, and encourage her to self-care. Support her endeavors as she supports all of ours. A Reverend Bud Murphy led my ordination service 14 years ago this month, and I did the math about 3 or 4 times because I didn't think it could possibly have been that many years ago. And I don't recall everything he said that day, but I do vividly remember something he did. Our Judeo-Christian heritage employs the laying on of hands as a symbolic and formal method of recognizing the admission of the newly ordained. It's a powerful gesture of approval, connection, and faith. Reverend Murphy had everyone who attended the service come forward and participate in the ritual to remind us that in our tradition, ministers are lifted up, set apart, and ordained not by a single individual, but by the approval, power, and authority of a community. So when next you see Bobby, and it is safe to do so, I invite all of you to lay your hand briefly upon her shoulder to demonstrate your support and faith in her future as a minister in our generous and prophetic tradition. Bobby, would you come here for just one moment? Barbara Kilgore, I am proud and honored to call you a friend and colleague.
Thank you. At this point in the service, our esteemed president, James Kilby, is going to perform certain parts of the ritual, beginning with the act of ordination. And I believe you'll be coming up here. And I don't need to move the box because the box is for James and me.
Hi, my name is James Kilby, and this will be the act of ordination. Will the members of UUCB please stand in spirit? Barbara Ann Kilgore, recognizing your sense of obligation to serve the cause of liberal religion and your dedication to helping all people. We, the congregation, desire to ordain you to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. We offer you ordination, a privilege bestowed upon us by the nature of our free church. We offer you a free pulpit, even as we are a free people. Among us and wherever you may be called to serve, we would have you preach the word of truth in freedom and in love, ministering alike to our joys and our sorrows, setting forth no less your example and living in the tradition of the principles of our free faith. Are you ready to enter upon this ministry?
Yes.
We, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brevard, do hereby ordain you, Barbara Ann Kilgore, to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. We do pledge ourselves to walk with you in the unity of the Spirit, in the bond of peace, and all ways of love and truth. So be it.
So be it.
Will you please pray with me now? From Wake Now, My Senses by Thomas Milkinson. Wake now, my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care. Amen. This will be our charge to the minister. Take in the space that is this sanctuary and know that you are home. Please hold that moment and feel the positive energy of today's events and feel the love that surrounds you now. And I will say, for those who can't see, everyone in this room is smiling. I charge you, Bobby Kilgore, never to forget that you are worthy of love. Break open your heart and accept what this deep abiding love can mean to both you and this congregation. Time after time, you have come to our community and delivered both with laughter and wisdom this message that binds us all in principle and leaves us in a better place. Please know we hold this space for you as often and as long as you need it. You have personally showed me how not to look away from humanity, to look into the very eyes of those who need you most, and to show up. Remember, you're charged to help. And as you said on that faithful service, it is our job to comfort one another. You have spoken many times of the joys of the natural world, like today. And you remind us to hold it dear in our hearts, to feel the powerful presence of those we love in this world and the ones beyond. I charge you to nurture that precious spirit and let your instincts take you where they will. You lead with kindness, so expect to get kindness back. Let people help you. Let them love you just for the joy of helping you. Finally, I charge you, Bobby Kilgore, to never lose sight of your humor and compassion, to use these gifts to help as many people as you can, and know that you're never alone. This will be the charge to the congregation. There's a famous African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Someone once said, ministry is not something done to you, the congregation. In our rich traditions of shared ministry, the congregation bears as much responsibility as the minister. Simply put, this is a journey that we embark on together. You are in a relationship of mutual trust with Bobby, with each other, and with the community outside the walls of this church. The plight of our congregation fits in well with the experience and history that Bobby has to offer us. Let us always remain in a constant state of gratitude during this relationship. Bobby, you already know how to do this. Guide us to the areas that will challenge you, where your gifts are most needed, and where our light can shine brightest and help the most people. Many of you have come to this church seeking a safe haven, a liberal oasis in a desert of political division and superficial living. Many of you have embraced the diversity of society and know that our strengths lie in our differences as well as our beliefs. But we have to always consider the long view of our religion, and that means pushing past the walls of this church and working to create a beloved community for all. Let us stand together on the side of love and for the rights of the marginalized, and be brave. Let us work to keep the church strong and the doors open for all that needed in this community. Let us leave a legacy of empathy, love, and compassion for all the world to see while taking our place on the right side of history.
At this point in our service, James will offer the gift from the congregation to our new minister, Barbara Ann or Bobby Kilgore. I think you can see it from the other computer. I'm not sure. Ah, yes, it's reversible. Beautiful stole. And now Reverend Ann Fuller is extending the right hand of fellowship on behalf of all the congregants and members and guests at UUCB. We look forward to having Bobby back when she's speaking to us in a really formal capacity, wearing this beautiful stole that, if I am correct, Leanne made that stole? Yes, of course, our wonderful seamstress, artist. And at this point, the Reverend Barbara Kilgore will deliver the benediction.
May words I say be fair and true. May love be a guide in all I do. May kindness sing within my heart, and may peace be with us while we're apart. Thank you. Amen. Blessed be.
And now, as is traditional, we will extinguish the chalice. Bobby requested this favorite chalice extinguishing by Elizabeth Sell Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Amen and blessed be. And that's all, folks.